What's up, everybody? It's your boy J-Rod. Welcome to the channel. So today's video, we got a breaking news story coming out of the Dominican Republic, and this is actually a very sad one, okay? Very disturbing. Now, the thing that bothers me about this entire situation is that nobody is talking about this. Literally no news outlets are really talking about this, you know? And I feel like when it comes to certain demographics of people, I'm talking about my people, I feel like we don't get the same push as some of the people of the other demographics, because I remember like the girl, like a few months back, went missing in Punta Cana or whatever. It was like all over the national news. Everybody was talking about it on all these different news outlets. But when it comes to our people, I just feel like we don't get the same push. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to even report on this. And I haven't seen too many other YouTubers. I don't think I've seen any YouTuber talk about this. So I'm just putting the story out there. And I know some people, they don't really like when I make videos about stuff like this, but it's literally just to get the word out, okay, and to spread awareness. So we're gonna get started with this video. What I plan to do is I'm gonna give you a brief rundown or a breakdown of the situation. Then I'm gonna play a video clip, and then at the end of that, I'm gonna come back with the rest of my thoughts and opinions. All right, so brief, quick synopsis. There's a Black American man by the name of Jason Forrester. He's from the United States, and he takes frequent trips to the Dominican Republic all the time. Well, one day he actually ended up falling in love with a woman down there. He helped her get a visa so she can come back to the States to live with him back in Miami. And the father, who you're about to see in this interview clip that I'm gonna post, he was saying that they struggle from transitioning between long distance to now living in the same household. And that does happen sometimes when you do finally live with a person. You know, things change, the dynamics are different. And so he said they did have a little bit of a struggle with her coming over to live with him in Miami. And he said that one day his son came home from work, and when he got to the apartment, the woman, she cleared the entire place, left, and blocked him. All right. So what Jason decided to do was he was gonna fly back to the Dominican Republic to try to talk to the woman's family to salvage his marriage. But upon arriving back to the Dominican Republic to find the woman's family, the father said that he has not heard from his son in 2 weeks, and this is also including the son's friends and family. Okay, so I'm gonna play the news clip real quick, and then I'll come back with my final thoughts.
He likes to talk, he likes to tell me what he's doing, send me videos of where he's going.
Marcus Forrester says he and his son Jason, 38, voice texted each other every day and many times a day, especially after Jason moved from Beltsville, Maryland to Miami, Florida. Frequent trips to the Dominican Republic led to love and then marriage to a woman Jason met there.
He met the parents and so on. They got married in DR, and he started making arrangements to get her to come here legally. And that did happen. She got a visa.
Forrester says Jason and his new bride struggled a bit as they transitioned from a long-distance relationship to sharing a home. Then something unexpected and shocking happened.
One day he came back from work and the apartment was cleaned out. She left and disappeared.
Forrester says his son was heartbroken when his wife refused to return his calls, then blocked him. He says Jason decided to fly to the Dominican Republic to talk with her family, hoping they would help convince her to return to the marriage. But after the phone call from the airport 2 weeks ago, Marcus Forrester says no one, not his family or friends, has heard from Jason. Calls to the Dominican embassy have produced no helpful information, he says.
We're just very, very concerned and hoping and praying that he shows up some way, somehow. But the reality of it is it could be even worse.
Marcus Forrester is in the process of filing a missing persons report in Miami, where Jason lived and was last seen. Jackie Benson, News 4.
All right, so essentially this story is very disturbing, and this is why I say it's so important to tell people your travel plans. Not saying that the son wasn't already doing this with the father, because as you heard in the video, the father said that him and his son frequently texted each other, and he always told his father what he was doing. But this is why I tell people who travel, especially if you're traveling solo, okay, because 98 to 99% of the time I'm traveling solo. Like, I don't really travel with other people like that. But when I do travel alone, I always tell somebody my itinerary. So whether it be my mother, my sister, a friend, or whatever, I always tell somebody what my travel plans. I tell them where I'm staying at. Okay, I always check in with them, update them, let them know everything's good, because as you saw in the video, he said that they have tried to contact the embassy, but they haven't really been getting much from that, which is a little bit surprising, because usually the embassy they can at least at minimum see when he entered the country, because when you do travel into countries, not even just Dominican Republic, you do go through customs and immigration. So, you know, when you fill out that form and you talk about where you're gonna be staying and how long you're gonna be staying, they usually have at least that basic knowledge. So hopefully the father, he can find some information just based from that. Like stated before, I'm not saying that the son wasn't already doing those things, as from the video, you can tell that him and his father communicated a lot. But when you are traveling, you do need to tell at least one person. You know, like just the other week, my homie, he was in Santo Domingo. He sent his location to me. He's like, yo, J-Rod, I'm about to go meet up with this girl. Shout out to you, bro, if you're watching. But he sent his location because he's like, you know, stuff does happen like that. Now, the real question, where the hell is the girl? Like, where the hell did she go? You know, I'm assuming she probably somewhere in the United States, because this is just based from previous stories I've heard. A lot of times when men, well, I guess you could say women too, but mostly this happens with guys, when they bring somebody over to the States and they do the whole switcheroo, they break up with them, disappear. A lot of times they do go somewhere else in the United States. I know a lot of people from DR, they will go up to like New York or Philly or Jersey. It's a big, huge Dominican population up there, and you know, they'll go to their people. Now, I'm not saying that she did that, because I don't know the dynamics of the relationship. The man could have been abusive and she was just trying to get out of it. Like, we don't know. So I ain't gonna say that she just dipped for no reason. I don't know the ins and outs of the relationship. But that is kind of just crazy. Like, they don't have no way of contacting her. And I am happy that the father did go ahead and contact the police to file a missing persons report. But I do feel like they do need to be trying to figure out where this woman is. And in addition to that, I do feel like he needs to file a missing person report in Dominican Republic as well, or at least get a private investigator or something. They need to be able to contact that family. So I hope that he has a way to contact the family. And that's another problem when people go overseas. Sometimes, and I get it, especially when you're grown, you might not want your family and your business when it comes to someone who you marry. But I hope the father does have some type of contact to the in-laws, considering that they are married. But I do know that there are families that they're not like that, you know, they don't talk to the in-laws. So that's just another thing to think about if you're gonna be marrying somebody in a foreign country. Allowing somebody that you know, whether it be a friend or family, to be able to have access to contact them. Because once again, without any information to begin to try to figure out what happened to this guy, you know, if you don't have no type of point of contact to talk to, it just makes the overall investigation a little bit more challenging. So hopefully they are able to do that, to get in contact with the family. Now, I do know a lot of people that probably thinking like the family probably knows what's going on, or they have something to do with it, but I don't want to put that out there and then, you know, put something on the family. So I have my own private thoughts of what I feel like could have happened, but once again, I don't want to put something out there that's not true, because we don't really know what's going on. But that is a thought. That is a thought. Also, too, it could have just been a coincidence or an accident that happened. You know, a few years back in 2019, I did a story about a couple that went missing in DR. They accidentally drove off the side of a cliff, and they recovered the car. And I think that whole story, everybody was talking about that. So it could have been one of those type of situations, we don't know. Or it could have been something completely unrelated to the woman. Like, it could have been another person that was involved with this that was unrelated to the family. So we just don't know what happened yet, because they haven't really given much information about kind of like what's going on. But I do want to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you feel like the family has something to do with it? Do you feel like the woman has something to do with it? Or do you feel like, you know, it could have been an accident and, you know, the man, it just happened to be a coincidence, you know, bad timing? And are you somebody that is willing to bring a woman from another country over to the United States? Is that something that you feel like you would do? I know some guys, they say like they just won't do it at all, you know? So I don't know, I want to hear you guys' thoughts down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. All right, peace.